Okay, everyone, I'm here with Analyzing Male Slavery. Uh, and he and I are going to be talking about uh, Kulinski here. And this video of his is 5 years old. Hello, Analyzing. How's life treating you?
Life's treating me great. Anyway, 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 uh, I want to talk about the context of this video while we're looking at this 5-year-old video. Because
Yes.
recently, Kulinski did a video about the Bernie Bro uh, slander
Slander?
thing.
Yes,
It's not
exactly.
slander, well, the Bernie Bro insult, basically. That's what
Yes, exactly. He
he
just
was
recently.
basically complaining. He was
Yes.
complaining that every time someone's pro Bernie, they get shut down by being called a Bernie Bro, which basically means you're male, you're invalid, shut up.
Yes.
And I was aware of this guy being a bit of a feminist, so I got someone to look up this video for me, one of his older videos, and I watched it. It made me realise what a hypocrite he is. Now, I've got to say, on almost every other issue, Cole is actually very good, right? He's good on economics, he's good on history, he's good on anti-war stuff. But when it comes to this issue on feminism, he's complete trash. He's garbage.
Yeah, he's completely 100% the wrong way. I don't know how much, if much has changed in 5 years, because a lot of stuff has happened in that interim, but I
No,
don't
he's the
think so.
same. I think he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, bad mouthing MRAs as well.
Oh my God. Okay, well
Yeah,
let's.
and he's still the thing is, and also if you watch this video, the video we're replying to, it's clear that he's actually very ignorant on the subject, and he's never looked into it. He can't be bothered. He's
Yeah.
never done the most. He's very similar to the pro-war people who criticize Noam Chomsky, right?
Yes.
Because I've talked to these people. They've never read Noam Chomsky. They go, "Oh, Noam Chomsky just hates America. Noam Chomsky also supports Russia." I said, "No, Noam Chomsky's actually criticised both sides. He's objective. You've never actually read any of his books." And I'll go to them. Can you name any of these books that you wrote? And Kyle, who's anti-war, is doing the same thing as all pro-war people, so it makes him a hypocrite.
Yes.
He's being
Well,
dismissive.
the thing is too. I'm sure there's a certain amount of purposeful ignorance. Like these guys
Yes,
do not want to even look at it, let alone.
yes.
Okay, let's listen to a bit of what he has to say.
Issue that's received quite a response and a lot of attention online. It's the idea of traditional feminism, or just feminism, versus what I call neo-feminism, and what a lot.
Yeah, neo-feminism, does it actually exist?
Yes, all three waves of feminism are exactly the same.
Well,
So
yes, exactly.
there's no point. There's no point calling them neo-feminism. I don't even accept the term the waves. I don't even accept the waves of feminism as a definition. There's
No.
literally no. To me, there's only two different types of feminism. There is actually traditional feminism, right? And then there's intersectional feminism,
Yeah.
and they're both very similar with just some slight differences. I want to explain what intersectional is briefly.
Sure.
Intersectional feminism is just the branch of feminism that mixes in racial and queer politics. It basically co-opts them and makes them about women.
Yes.
That's it. That's the only difference.
Yeah, exactly. And they have struggles. I mean, this is a bit off topic, but they have struggles with keeping the men in line there, because the men don't want to deal with the fact that they are being used. And it has nothing to do with race in that. They are just pawns in the game. There you go. Well,
A lot of people refer to as third wave feminism. So this all started, this somewhat kind of feud that's going on, although I don't know how much of a feud it really is, because I don't think there's all that many people who believe in the fringiest aspects of that movement. But
he's going on about the fringe. But I mean, this. Yes?
No, carry on.
I digress. This all started because I took...
Sorry, pause. Sorry. I mean, carry on with what you're saying. Sorry.
So yeah, he's going on about the fringe, but I mean, this is really just generally the whole thing. There's just individuals that are, well, I shouldn't say individuals. There are groups that are worse than others, for sure. But I mean, they're all on the same page in the end. I mean,
Yeah, they believe the same. They believe the same things. There's some that act odder than others. It's a tone argument. Oh yeah, these feminists are a bit extreme and loud and obnoxious. But
yeah,
anyway, Cole will prove that he actually believes in all the core feminist tenets, all
yes,
the kookiest aspects. Anyway,
we'll progress.
An article that was titled, "I'm trying not to hate men." And the article explains how the author experienced abuse as a child and was also sexually assaulted, and she's being sincere too when she says, like, you don't get, I'm trying really, really hard not to hate men. And, the last paragraph, for example,
How does he know if she's sincere or not?
will explains how, like, she gets in an elevator and she sees a man and she's like really nervous and anxious because every time she sees a man she's like that. The guy kind of understood and was nice to her, and she calmed down in that brief moment.
I wouldn't have been nice to her at this point in the game. I just stopped the elevator, said, "Get off. I'm going up to floor X. You can either come with me or you can get off."
But she's really trying hard to change that mindset of default hating all men. And look, I took issue with it because what I said is, if you change the title to "I'm trying not to hate any other group," there's universal outrage. Like, you can't write an article saying "I'm trying not to hate Jews" because people's response
He's actually being very illogical right now.
would be, well, why would the default position be that you hate Jews? That's irrational. Same thing, hey, I'm trying not to hate blacks, I'm trying not to hate gays, I'm trying not to hate Muslims. Everybody's response would rightly be, well, but why is the default position that you do hate them, right? And then look, I said, even in a case where, let's say there's an individual who, they never knew any black people, and the first 2 black people that person met were assholes to that person, right? Hey, the first black friend I ever had stole my wallet, and then 3 weeks later I was mugged. Even for that guy, that doesn't then make it rational for him to just default assume that all black people are criminals after the fact because of personal experience. So I made that point because for some reason, now it's okay to talk in that way about men? I guess some people think it is okay to do that. And in all seriousness, that's the textbook definition of hypocrisy, where you just flip the script and it's fine, and you do the other way and everybody's angry. That's hypocrisy, and that doesn't make sense. So I spoke about that, and then here's some of the responses that I got to that segment. Quote, "Listen to the racist, misogynistic piece of shit from Secular Talk," and then they sent a link to my video, of course with a trigger warning. Another person said, "Fuck that. When men get..."
This goes to show you how long ago. This is 5 years ago, and there's double trigger warnings back then. So I forgot how long ago it went back.
It's been around since 2011 at least.
Yes.
It comes from therapy culture, so it's actually very old. But feminists started using it, and they brought it into the internet, and then the mainstream noticed it and started using it to mock feminists.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their shit together, we can talk about the tone that abused women use to express their outrage. So you can never, ever, ever criticize any female on any point or any argument ever because men have had a history of sexism and misogyny and domination that's negative.
We have a history of that. Where? That's just outright false.
And by the way, I agree with the latter part of that yes, men have had a history of sexism and misogyny.
There you go. He actually believes this.
So he complains about feminism, and he agrees with them 100%. So he's basically thrown other men under the bus. Oh yes, other men are bad. They are misogynists, just not me.
Yes.
And
or friends that I know. That's what I get. It's always on a personal level. You don't know any of these guys. It's always some other group somewhere out there. Somewhere.
Yes.
Misogyny and terrible things associated with what we've done to women and what white men have done to black people all throughout history. I agree with that part. But that means that
what we have done with women. Like, so did he?
No. I'm not. You're missing He's equating the treatment of black people to the treatment of women, right there. What were the terrible things we've done to black people and the terrible things we've done to women? That's complete nonsense. And actually, that is what he calls neo-feminism, the third wave feminism. He's actually repeating that nonsense, equating female oppression with black oppression. That's the biggest part of nonsense I've ever heard.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, even in the day where they were hanging people, how many black women were hung for looking at a white guy. I mean, racism itself is very misandric in its, in its core.
Yes.
You can't criticize any woman for any issue ever, for any argument they've ever made. Again, there's no logical connection there. That's an emotional response. Another one, quote, hating your oppressor is...
I also don't like this idea, like, where these guys are the logical ones and other people are emotional. The outrage against injustice is an emotional response. You have no arguments without emotional responses,
It's justified. Don't you dare compare that with racism and discrimination against marginalized people, idiot. Yes, hating your oppressor is justified, but the issue is, who is your oppressor?
That's a good question. Who is he going to, finger point to for the oppressor of women?
Who is your oppressor? Is your oppressor the men who are actually oppressing you, or is your oppressor all men? Now, I did a little
pause.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, he's basically implying it's the rich because he's a left winger. Okay,
yes.
And he's calling the rich rich men. So he's trying to say no, it's just it's the rich men, not the all men. I'm sorry, but there's rich women as well. Okay, who do rich men pander to?
Yeah, exactly.
Women. so like vast majority of rich men are being married, right? They're heterosexual. They're going to be married, and many gay men get married to women as well, more than you would imagine.
Yes.
And they're getting married to women, and they're handing their resources over to these women. So I'm sorry, the women are just equally. The rich women are. If you believe this, rich are oppressing the poor narrative. Okay, the rich women are just as guilty as the rich men. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So okay.
They just don't have to get their hands dirty.
Yes.
And I looked through the Secular Talk YouTube archives to see how we've covered women's issues in the past, to see if I'm such a terrible misogynist and I'm a terrible sexist.
All right, he's got to defend himself. There are terrible men, but he's the one good guy, as usual.
To, my man feels get in the way of me being rational. I don't even know what that means, man feels. I didn't even bother to look it up, because I know it's some new age thing where people try to shut down an argument by saying something witty. Oh, you outsnarked me. I guess I have to shut up now. So in total, there are 71 videos that come up in the Secular Talk archives when you type in the word feminism. A grand total of 5 of them disagree with feminists. Now, I'm not good at...
So what was that you said earlier? There was a comparison you made.
No, yes. Carry on. Let's play it. He hasn't finished the sentence.
Okay.
Percentages and numbers, but what is that? Like over 90% of the time, I flat out agree with feminists. 5% of the time, not 5%, 5 videos, 7%, 10% of the time, I disagree. But now, I'm equal to a guy who lived in Mississippi in 1954 who forced his woman to only work in the kitchen, and he controlled every aspect of her life. This is obvious. Now,
yeah, exactly.
So basically, there's 2 things there. So he's basically saying, oh yeah, I basically mostly agree with the hate movement, but only criticise it sometimes. Okay. What Cole doesn't realise, or he doesn't want to realise, feminism is a hate movement, and hate movements tend to want 100% agreement, or else you're out.
That's right.
Especially for the men. Also, right there, he's basically saying that men used to keep women in the kitchen in the 50s.
Yeah,
so he's repeating that. And where does that narrative come from? That false narrative come from? It comes from feminists. And that's a kooky, insane view. It's just become mainstream because people have just repeated it so much.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they're housewives now. So, I mean, those women in the 50s, they were there because they wanted to be there. They really wanted to leave. They could have. They just didn't want to. They wanted to be taken.
No. Let's not even talk about leave, okay? Because that's the wrong framing. That's framing it like they're trapped. What we should be asking is, why weren't the women working as well and contributing to the relationship?
Yes, exactly. That is proper. I find it's easy to get stuck in their framework.
Yes.
In those videos, here's what I advocate for. An end to
All right,
female
let's stop here.
body-shaming.
We don't need to hear him. Let's take a look. Body shaming, religious oppression. Oh my God. Religion.
Okay, so probably, let's go through one by one. I'll touch
Right.
it one by one. That's probably the best way. End body shaming and unrealistic images. This is what they call a first world problem, when it really mocks us at. Okay,
Yes.
I don't care about body shaming. First of all, what do you mean by unrealistic images? People like apex beauty, they like to worship the most beautiful people, male or female.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not unrealistic; it's realistic.
It is
Okay,
really.
that's
Yeah.
yes, they're just a cut above the rest, and women like this sort of stuff. So I'm sorry, it's not a problem. I'm sorry, I don't care. It's not like, all right. Let's compare that problem to a men's problem. Circumcision, a screaming baby, screaming in agony. In so much agony, sometimes they puke their lungs out. Basically, you should see the videos.
I can't.
I
got to tell you, I can't sit those videos.
They really upset me. So I'm sorry. I don't care about body shaming.
No.
I don't care one single bit. That's not a problem, right? 90% of workplace deaths are male. I'm sorry. I don't care about body shaming. I just don't.
No, it's a trivial, petty problem. Now, this religious oppression. I mean, men suffer religious oppression.
Okay, no, what religious impression? I don't want to. Okay, Cole. For the sake of this conversation, we should be focusing on the first world. Okay,
Yes.
so the first world. All right, I'm pretty sure there's no religion. There is religious oppression in third world countries, but it mostly falls upon men. There is no religious oppression of women in the first world. Full stop. I reject that. It's nonsense.
Yes, exactly. And all these people who bring it up do zero to change anything in some third world country. They don't care about it. It's just another way of framing victimhood where it doesn't exist.
Now, end largely bullshit gender roles. Okay, who enforces gender roles? Who?
Of course,
it's not men.
Yeah,
the girls. They use it by sexual selection. You know,
exactly.
there's a reason why men work overtime and women don't. There's a reason why married women work less hours than single women. Okay, there's a reason why married men work more hours than single men. There's a reason why the biggest feminist lobby in the world, the National Organisation for Women, lobbied to block shared parenting and alimony reform. Okay, those are gender roles that women defend. Okay, so let's not beat around the bush here, Carl. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's face it, even the ones who complain about high heels and that, they love that stuff. They love that female gender role of just becoming beautiful to look at and saying that'll take care of things. You know, this.
And end birth control bans and shaming. Okay, now, I'm going to say this right here and right now. I do not give one single F about abortion rights for women. If they were taken away tomorrow, I would not care. And I'm going to explain why. Okay? Because this is about context. Women, even though their abortion rights taken away overnight, had them completely stripped away, they'll still have more reproductive rights than men. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's due to that reason alone, I do not care about abortion rights. So, because like men, sex for men is consent to fatherhood and being forced to pay child support. No one forces women to raise kids against their will. If women had their abortion rights taken away, they can still give up the kid for adoption. Men do not have that option. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to, I don't care. In fact, I'm going to say this right here and now. If I was part of a political men's rights party, right, in a PR democracy, proportional representation democracy, as part of a small, I know, as passing a bill to ban abortion, I'd vote to ban abortion, right? But I'll explain my reason why. I'd say, look, feminists, I will support your abortion rights, but I won't. But I'll fight against them up until you support our rights. Yes. Until that day comes, I'm going to do my best to sabotage your rights. This is a retaliatory measure done to defend the interests of men. That's what I'll do.
And that's a biggest problem of the current MRM, is that they're not willing to to do what's necessary. They want to pretend that there's no opposition, from the opposite sex. So they just immediately they waste their time always trying to pander and saying, we're on the same side. We're not on the same side. This is due to the natural hostilities between the sexes, and men have to deal with that. They have to.
There is no hostility between sexes. That implies it's two-way. There's an attack by women on men.
Yes,
that's
of
it.
course.
Yes.
My framing is always so bad. Okay. Now let's
end extreme red state abortion laws. Like that, we've already covered abortion. Right. And I think this is a largely blown up issue. Some women apparently might struggle to get abortions because of bad funding of abortion clinics. Well, I'm sorry, that I don't care. So let's skip over that.
Right.
Equal pay for equal work. Come on. Do we have to debunk this for the 1 millionth time?
Yeah, let's not even bother.
Yes, I mean, come on. There is no pay gap. Okay. No. So let's focus. Women have got affirmative action in higher education and in the workplace. Okay. So they've got more access to jobs than men do.
Yes.
Right. So we should be talking about female privilege in the workplace, not the pay gap.
Yeah, right. The non-existent pay gap.
Yes.
Okay. Unfair gender double standards. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This guy is for them. If he's for feminism, he's for keeping them going.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. What's this last one? No means yes insanity. Does that even...
All right. Okay. Because feminists try to create... Right. This is actually quite complicated. I might have to do a video covering this. Okay. Feminists spread this lie that basically men not taking no for an answer is common. Right? That's where it comes from. So he's repeating feminist nonsense. Now, here's where it gets messy. When women flirt with men, there is a lot of feigned resistance. Women want men to push past the resistance and try harder.
Exactly.
So
persistence is what guys are pushed. This is the gender roles being pushed on the men that we talked about earlier. Women demand that men are persistent.
Yes.
In their so that's where this comes from. I mean, it's not as complex actually as you think. I mean, it's easily explained because that has not changed. For all this nonsense of no means yes or whatever, the girls will never put their necks out and say, "Okay, I'm going to deal with rejection." No, they want the guys to put up and keep going and take any risk. And the risk have gotten so huge. Like young men must be out of their minds to even try.
Yes.
Okay, let's get on. We'll go past this.
Unrealistic images. How sexist of me.
Yeah, that's it.
An end to religious oppression in women, which I think still do exist, absolutely.
Okay.
The men's
Let's
rights
check this
movement.
out. Call the men's right movement. Okay, let me back up just a minute. There we are.
Means yes, insanity. I call the men's rights movement, quote, stupid. I mock.
Let's pause that.
Female outrage.
I'm going to say this to you, Cole. I really want to call you the C word right now for what you've just said. So basically, men have got less rights, and you dare call the men's rights movement stupid. You're because what are you, Cole? Right? You're a privileged rich kid, basically. You're rich. You're going to be a millionaire. I don't care what anyone says. I can just tell. You're going to be rich, okay? And there's men dying in the workplace, okay? There's unemployed men. There's falsely accused men. There's men who've been circumcised as babies, okay? There's a sentencing gap, all right? There's countless millions of men alienated from their children. There's men jailed for not paying for child support. And you dare call the men's rights movement stupid. You're a disgrace, Kyle. I'm sorry. Right, I'm done.
Well, not to mention that he'll later on talk about that there's, at least in his mind, a few things that they have reason. And once you give it any kind of credence to what men's rights have to say, then why would you call them stupid at all? You'd say, oh, well, this is what I agree with and this is what I don't.
Yes.
Breach that included the dating game, because of course, women, can't understand the issues. You have to talk about it through the medium of a fake dating game. And of course, they read Glamour magazine and used that as outreach for women. They put a picture on Twitter of them reading Glamour magazine because you know how those women are. They don't care about serious issues, only Glamour magazine. I mock those things mercilessly, and I outline all the attacks on reproductive freedom, specifically in the year 2013. I cover that more in depth.
To be honest, I mean, most people, when life is easy, we do tend to look at more trivial things. There's nothing wrong with saying the girls like reading this magazine. You know, guys,
the thing is, I don't. To be honest, I don't care about that point you just made. I just don't care. It's not worth talking. It's nonsense. It's not worth talking about.
Right.
And the last one. Let's skip this last one as well because he's just talking about reproductive rights.
Yeah.
Again.
Exactly. Okay.
So,
let's go on to the next. See what he's got here.
And I guarantee you that. I, for example, was one of the first people to report on the fact that they do a trick. The conservatives do a trick where they purposefully overregulate abortion clinics. They'll go in there, they'll take out a tape measure, they'll measure the size of the hallways, and then they'll say to the clinic owners, oh, sorry, your hallways are 9 feet tall, and now we passed a regulation that says it needs to be 9 feet 2 inches tall. You have to totally take down your building and rebuild it, or else we're going to shut you.
You think this actually happened?
I don't think it happened, and I don't care.
Okay.
That's just I don't care about women. Like I said,
about that and give you all this.
Sorry, what was that?
I said, like I said before, I don't care about women's abortion rights.
Right.
It's not my concern. I don't care. Look, if I was a Jew and some Nazis were getting bullied, I wouldn't care.
Yes.
Sorry, I can't put any plainer in that.
I like that. Okay.
Details of that. And the titles of my segments include things like report, women getting a raw deal. Yes, how sexist of me. The no-win situation for women in the workplace.
Okay, we don't need to hear him talk about it. Okay. Women getting a raw deal.
That's so vague. That doesn't mean anything. The first one, the no-win situation for women. So they've got affirmative action. They've got more funding. They've got companies that discriminate against men so women can get into the workplace.
Oh, yeah. Well,
right?
Matter of fact, just like even where I work, I mean, you just see it everywhere that all the comfortable inside office jobs are just majority, if not 100% women anyway. All the men are getting pushed into the blue collar, basically.
Yes. It's a no-win situation for men, basically. If you're unemployed, you don't have a relationship, and you're shunned by society, you're looked down upon. Yeah. If you work, you get criticised. But, oh, yeah, you don't pay enough attention to me. It's a no-win situation for men. Full stop.
Exactly. Matter of fact, the more technology allows women to do blue-collar work, they're actually going into the blue-collar work now more than ever. And you know that's just ousting a guy from his job. So it's even gets
the thing is, it depends. No, it depends on the job. Like women are still I think women still don't go for jobs like sewage and dustbin disposal. Basically, yeah. So I don't think women are not going into blue collar work. They're not going to do things like mechanics and stuff like that. They're not.
Well, to put it this way, I just saw a lady garbage man in town last year, because what's happened is they've got a part of the machine of the truck lifts up the garbage itself. So you just have to so it allows weaker people to handle the garbge. And
yeah, but that's yeah, but how many you saw one last year? How many is that out of all the men you saw?
One. No,
exactly. You're mistaking anecdotal evidence for common generality.
I think you think I disagree with you. I'm not disagreeing. What's happening is that if women do want it, it's there for them.
Right, okay.
You know, it's not the case that they're taking these jobs they don't want. I'm just saying the odd time when you do have a woman who wants it, she's got it.
Yes. Yeah, and it's because it's too low status and too dirty.
Yes, exactly. But what it is, that particular job is easy because all you do is drive along with the truck, pull the garbage can onto it. The truck does the heavy work. Then you get on it and drive to the next place. So if you're a person who isn't very smart, or a woman who's not very smart, and it's an easy gig and probably gets decent pay. So, but anyway, I don't want to get too far. Let's see. Eric Erickson oozing sexism. I don't even know who that guy is.
No, you missed one.
Sorry, the 80s. Oh, yeah, the waitress. Yes, sorry. The waitressing, like I'm telling you now, the worst case scenario of waitressing from what I saw when I was a kid was maybe some guy was flirting with them or maybe he got a little hands on. But I haven't seen that since I was a boy. That was an
And the
old.
thing, okay, and the thing is, we live in the Me Too era where it's been proven that women lie about these things. Basically,
Yes, exactly.
most of these, look, 80% of waitresses report being harassed. In studies, they don't take self-reporting seriously anyway. In science,
That's
it
right.
doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry, this is all bull. What does harass mean? It's so subjective. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he was annoying. He told an annoying joke. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, we all know by now that the girls like the victim narrative. Men hate it because it's bad. It actually takes away from us, but it adds to the girls. Well, women are not seen as pathetic if they are victims. You know.
Yes.
So anyway, so that's that. And like I said, I mean, I haven't seen waitress, and it's only waitresses he's pointing out. So it's not like women in general, even if the thing was true, which it isn't. Okay.
Also, I want to make one more point. I bet female waitresses get more tips.
Oh,
Male
you know
ones.
they do because
Yes.
men tip women more.
Yes.
Matter of fact, this will make you laugh too. There was one of the actors. There was an actress who was saying she used to waitress, and they got her in a goofy costume. But she said, I got bigger tips for being in this goofy costume than when I was just a regular waitress. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you say, that the girls will say is sexism, works in their favor. Like wearing the sexy costume works. That's why they wear the sexy costume, Yeah, they get paid more for it. Okay, now, like I said, the next one, the oozing sex, I don't know who that guy is. I have nothing to say about it. Female outreach ad is downright insulting.
Yeah. Well, we've never seen the advert, and it probably isn't insulting
No,
because Cole's a mangina. Thinks anything said against women is insulting.
yeah, exactly. Well, it's not 100% pandering. Is probably what it is. It's hard to paint yourself as a victim and also come out as dignified. I think that's a big thing. They want 100% and much more. Okay, so that's about all we have to say about that.
So you can see how I'm anti-woman. And 80 to 90% of waitresses report being harassed. It is. I would put my record of supporting and defending feminism and women's rights up against anybody's. So when I criticize what I call neo-feminism, it's not because I'm the
See, it's always this competition between these guys. Yeah, who supports the girls more?
enemy. It's because I don't want the correct and virtuous fight of feminism to be perverted and smeared by fringe wingnuts and for it to lose.
Well, the thing with this though is like the so-called that he's, second wave feminism. It's all the same, but they gained everything they worked for. So I mean, why is he still on their bandwagon? At the very least, the feminism should be dead. It should be over then. It should only be these other women that they're talking about.
Popularity. Now, also, let me get more specific on this because some people took issue with I was very loose in how I define neo-feminist. Let me give you some clear-cut examples of what I would refer to as neo-feminism, specific issues where I'd say neo-feminists were involved. For example, if you're anti-porn. If you're anti-porn and you want to tell women you shouldn't be allowed to do that even if you want to do that, okay, that doesn't make you progressive, that doesn't make you a feminist.
Now, this is the thing. We all know that the push against porn is really an attack on men, not on the girls. I mean, that's what things like NoFap is about. There's no NoFap for girls. In the end, it's always an attack on men.
Yes.
And
also Cole seems to be very ignorant of feminist theory, which is, there's actually no excuse for him to be so because he's very well educated on history and other things.
Yes.
He doesn't seem to be aware of the feminist concept of objectification, which is a mainstream feminist concept, right? It's not a fringe thing at all. So
No, exactly. There's not fringe. I mean, I don't even know what he's talking about. The most fringy
yeah, so
things I've ever seen is the anti-trans, trans women. They're against the trans women is what they were, not just the trans. Yes.
But what I'm saying, the logical extension of objectification is to be anti-porn.
Yes, of course, of course.
Yes.
So I mean, and these other things, the Muslim extremists, who cares? We're safe over here. Even if the Christian extremists, far right conservatives, I mean, all these guys are only anti-porn because they back the women. They're actually very much into attacking men, keeping us in gender roles. Don't have any outlet outside of an actual real women that you have to pander to. So if you're some low guy at the low end, some ugly, impoverished guy, you're not to have any outlets. You just got to keep struggling for the women that don't even want you, no matter what. Just keep burning up your life and all your energy and get extra work and climb the social ladder, which you can anyway. Not everyone can.
To agree with people like John Hagee and Jerry Falwell and other insane evangelical far right-wing Christians. You want to control people. You don't want to give them freedom. You don't want to let them make their own decisions. You want to just define an entire industry as it's bad by definition because of my perception of how I want women to act. So you would be the ones controlling women.
And men, of course. I mean, men is the ones I think they want to control.
It's men who are the target. It's nothing to do about controlling women. Actually,
yes, exactly.
Controlling women. If it was outlawed, controlling women would just be a byproduct of just getting to the men.
Yes,
that's the main. But he can't admit that though. That men are the target and the victims of something.
Yes, exactly. We're the ones that they're aiming for, and because what happens, that's why it doesn't get banished. Because whenever they try it, the women who want to watch it speak up and shut it down. Otherwise, it would get banned if it was strictly a man's thing.
And more, I'm in favor of freedom for women, for them to make their own decisions. So any strand of feminism that is against women making their own choices, and they're against things like porn, you're not really standing up for women, you're not really defending them, that's not really feminism. Or it's a very radical strand of it that doesn't really embody the meaning of what feminism is supposed to be.
This guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, he's demonstrated he doesn't know. He's ignorant about, like you say, of the history of it and the actual tenets of it. That's embraced by all feminists.
Another example, when neo-feminists get angry over Princess in Mario. I'm not kidding, this is a thing. I didn't even know about this until recently. When I saw it, I was like...
You made a very good point earlier where he said, this is trivia. And there are real issues that men have to suffer. So, I mean, like, who cares? Sort of thing.
Wow, this is a thing? There's a movement where people say, no, well, there's all the video game industry is sexist because sometimes there are games that perpetuate old school feminine roles and old school masculine roles where the male character has to save the woman. There's princess.
They perpetuate it because this is what people like. This is what the girls like.
Yeah. No. This is what the men like, because that's the main target of video games, and that's why the feminists are complaining.
Yes, of course. But I mean, if you're talking about the damsel, you pointed out before about Twilight, how the main character is basically a damsel who has all these like these supermen going after her, protecting her. That was a wildly popular movie that girls flock to, even women flock to. They love that. Like, people do not want to admit that human beings have a limited amount of topics or interest, that we don't really have, that there's not as much to us as we'd like there to be.
Said Mario, and that's sexist. Okay, it's a video game. I'm about as mad at that as I am at, Call of Duty leading to murders. Because you know what the reality is? Call of Duty doesn't lead to murders. first-person shooter video games don't lead to murders. Violent video games don't lead to violence. This isn't my opinion. This is a fact. There have been multiple.
He likes video games, obviously. And my attitude is, why are you arguing for this then, Kyle? You know, because why are you arguing? What makes him think that people are going to listen to his opinion when he doesn't listen to men's issues at all? You know,
Multiple studies on this, they all come back saying the same thing. And it's the same thing for the idea that perpetuates sexism in society is ridiculous. And what? You want to eliminate the idea of any old school feminine role, like a princess or something like that? So you're not pro-women. You want to mold women to never embrace certain things that sometimes they want to embrace. Sometimes there are situations where a woman wants to embrace the so-called typical feminine role. My sister, for example, she's a housewife.
before we go, I would say not sometimes, most times, if not all times. Women love, the feminine role exists because that's what women embrace, period.
And she stays home, she raises the kids, she works hard. But there's a neo-feminism, a new branch of feminism.
Stop.
I got
it. So basically, because in case you missed it, he just said that his sister's a housewife and she's working hard.
Yeah.
So I think we've figured out that Cole's actually a treadcon. So
Yes.
he's actually, this is proof that most left-wing men are going to be treadcons, and actually most male feminists are going to be treadcons as well. So
He's so progressive.
Cole, your sister.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Cole, your sister's not working hard. Your sister is a parasite leeching off a husband. He's abusing him and using him. Staying with kids is not working hard. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's why the girls choose it still, because it's an easy gig. It's living off a guy. That's what its point is. And of course, these guys, all these guys on the left, if they're really against gender roles, how come they're so full, 100% backing this old gender role that supposedly women didn't want?
Yes.
Come in and say, I don't support her doing that because she should be out in the workplace and she should be doing the things that
she should be out in the workplace. Because why shouldn't she be working along with her husband and bringing in an income and the two of them putting their incomes together? You hire a nanny if you want the kids looked after. After a while, the kids are going to get to a certain age. They don't need nannies anyway. So
that men typically do, and for her to embrace that 1950s role, I'm against that. But no. But then again, you're not for women. You need to be in favor of freedom. You need to be in favor of every woman to make whatever
pause. Because
some of them are going to choose.
Okay. All right. There's freedoms, but then it gets to a point when your freedom impinges on others. Okay. The housewife role is a freedom that impinges on the men who do it because they're psychologically vulnerable and they're being manipulated. And who's paying for the marriage tax break? Who's paying for it?
yeah,
Who's paying for? So there's the marriage tax rate shortfall, and there's shortfall from the woman not paying taxes if she's not working.
That's
So it's a double whammy. And here's another thing: 70% of women, people in higher education, are females. There's a trend of a lot of women who go into higher education. They could get a degree. They don't even use it because a lot of them use university to hunt for high status husbands, and they use a degree to get a higher status.
Yes,
For
exactly.
more prestige. So that's a waste as well.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, Kyle. That's not a freedom that women should have, right? If there's some male who's so stupid that he's willing to pander for a woman who doesn't care about him, he's willing to be used and abused, okay, he can do that, but he should not be getting a tax break for it. It should not be incentivized.
Matter of fact, this is one of the things where the right agrees with the left, because these right-wingers that go on about not my taxes, they will admit that they love putting their taxes towards this defunct, male usury that goes on. In the stay-at-home housewife, they're willing to put their taxes towards that. So all of a sudden now the government is good when the government backs something like that.
Yes.
Business world, I fully support that. Some of them are going to choose to stay home and be housewives. I fully support that. You have to support it across the board. You can't just say we want to ban what was old school described as feminine. That doesn't make any sense.
I want to be against it. I want to be against these defunct generals. You know, he's wrong about that.
Yeah.
You can be against housewives.
To focus on video games and also understand the video game industry is just responding to market demands. If it was an overwhelming majority of women playing video games, all the video games would reflect what the women wanted to see. But it just so happens that in that case, it's overwhelmingly male, so the video games reflect that. And there's also plenty of strong female characters in video games. So the point itself is incorrect. I don't understand when people want to focus on, honestly, petty things like that as opposed to real issues affecting women. It gets me angry because you're
Where are the real issues affecting women? I mean, that's why they're going after these petty issues, because there are no real issues.
Yes. Also, there's just there's one more thing. Not because there's just a lack of. It's not just a lack of real issues. They're trying to cover their privilege. They're trying to confuse the issue and obfuscate what's going on. The females have got social dominance over men. That's what's going on.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's why his video games are being attacked, because they can be attacked. You know, that's, the girls don't like men having outlets, freedom. You know, there is a general dislike and contempt of men from women, and they exercise it. And these guys, the average guy has, if it wasn't so much money involved, even video games, I couldn't even say that, because the money involved doesn't stop the harm of video games. All of men's issues, like just look at Star Wars and all that, all these movies that are just being destroyed, and they actually make less money for it, but still they're being destroyed. I mean, that's the kind of dominance they have.
Women Act. I'll be over here fighting for an end to transvaginal.
Okay, I got.
Stop. Because no, you paused it in the middle of a sentence. I think we should go back.
Yes, exactly.
He says he supports the Violence Against Women Act. I want
to put that. Look, I wanted to get back here because I jumped ahead further. See, I guess actually hit there. Let's see. I want to get back to where we were.
You have to support it across the board. You can't just say we want to ban what was old school bans. If it was an overwhelming majority of women playing video game, and there's also plenty of strong female characters in video games.
Then we're back on track.
So the point itself is incorrect. I don't understand when people want to focus on, honestly, petty things like that as opposed to real issues affecting women. It gets me angry because you're perverting the good name of a movement that makes perfect sense, that movement being feminism. So, and here, let me just give you one more example of what I would describe as neo-feminism, which again doesn't make sense.
They made this guy apologize and cry, break down. So that shows you the real power they have. So,
here's another thing. He apologized and he doubled down on his attacks on him.
Yes.
Well, he showed vulnerabilities. Please stop attacking me. I'm vulnerable. Please take pity on me. And they just carried on attacking him without remorse. What he should have said to them is like, "You're cunts, fuck off." Sorry, I've just sworn there.
Yeah, we got to keep.
That's only time. And no more swearing from me. But I'm just saying. I'm quoting what he should have said. Basically,
yes.
He should have told them to. He should have swore at them and told them to get lost.
Yes, exactly. And of course, it just shows you just how the average guy folds when they get attacked by women. And look at this guy. These guys would go on about alpha beta because he's tall, he's strong, he's got the broad shoulders, he's got the beard, he's brave, he's smart, he made something. That's why another thing, the alpha beta garbage has to be, and soy boy cock. All men fold, every one of them that I've seen, no matter how masculine they come off, they all fold in the end.
There was a case, it was either in Germany or France, where feminists stormed a Barbie playhouse to shut it down because they said this perpetuates stereotypes about women and we don't want to allow any little girls to come into the Barbie playhouse.
These aren't stereotypes. For one thing, where are the police and people getting rid of these people? I mean, the little girls are allowed to go and enjoy their stuff, but also shows the fact that little girls enjoy this. They're not brainwashed. This is what they like. And you know something? This is what grown women like, because you don't know how many YouTubers I'll see of grown women, and they'll have stuffed animals in the background. You know, they've got their little toys. You know,
But he's talking about feminists protesting and attacking it, basically. So to be honest, I don't really care about this.
no,
So
no,
it's just feminists whining about a non-issue. This is a non-issue. So I've already mentioned circumcision. I haven't mentioned the draft and hazing that goes in the militaries all around the world.
Oh,
okay, yeah. Men go through that, and or about the atrocious amount of rapes in prison rapes in prison of men. Okay, there's that going on, and this idiot is bringing up this issue. It's nothing.
Yeah,
So
it is nothing.
Who cares? Who cares? Let's play. I don't want to talk about this nonsense.
No, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Sometimes a little girl just wants to play with a Barbie, and it's not evil patriarchal society forcing a role onto women. Okay? And understand, if you want to have a conversation about, well, Barbie shouldn't be so unrealistically skinny with those terrible dimensions, and that forces women or girls to try to aspire to that, and that doesn't make sense. I agree with you on that. I'm with you.
There you go. He agrees with the feminists.
So he's talking out the both sides of his neck. So basically saying, oh, these feminists are whining, they're doing these stupid, pointless protests, right? They're protesting it with Barbie dolls. But, you know, when feminists say that they harm women and girls by putting on realistic body expectations on them, I agree with them. What?
Yeah, exactly.
If you agree with them, why are you complaining about the protests? Are you?
Yeah, he should be backing you.
Cole, are you a moron? Have you ever seen this? Are you a moron? Honestly, come on.
Oh my God, you can't have it both ways, man. If it's stupid, then you don't back feminism. It's that simple.
You on that, but let's talk about that. Let's not talk about don't allow any Barbie playhouses because I don't like what it leads to. That's fascism when you want to control society in that way. Now, in conclusion, I want to say this. All of the men's rights people, there's been some men's rights people that are acting like, you know, I'm with them now. I'm not with you. I'm not on your team. Okay? Pick other kids.
We don't want you on our side, Kulinski.
Yeah. Cole, you're really disappointing. You're not as smart as I thought you was. I think. Look, you're a privileged white male. Okay, you're obviously a millionaire. Actually, you're quite a big time YouTube celebrity. You're quite a big political commentator. You're obviously rich. You're privileged. You're well off, and your ignorance on this issue is intentional. Because I suspect you're married, right? You're a trad con. Okay, you've probably got a housewife of your own. You believe men should work and gain status and power to women. That's okay for you. Okay, that's all what you believe in. So any other male issues, you're just going to dismiss.
Exactly.
Stop. Get away from me. I don't agree with you guys. Okay, I don't. The only issue where you have a point is on alimony and divorce. All the other issues are largely made up.
Okay, pause again. Pause again. So the only issue that you've got a point on is the issue that might affect him because he's a rich white dude with status and money, and he's probably a little bit scared and nervous of getting divorced, actually, and losing what he's earned.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
That's what's going on. Yes, yes. So it's very typical. So he's a high status male, okay, and all these low status male concerns are invalid. Shut up! You're a whiner. You're whining. They're not important. That's it. So I'm sorry. So the draft, circumcision, workplace death disparities, okay, false rape accusations, the sentencing gap, okay, boys being marked in schools by female teachers, okay, affirmative action, which is discrimination against men in the workplace and in higher education, but they're not issues to you, Carl. Only divorce and alimony is. Get fucked, Carl.
This is very typical of men. They just say, whatever affects me is all I care about. And the thing is, this is why I talked about this video being 5 years old and maybe he's changed. Because if you looked in the comment section of this video, you will see guys putting the same issues in the comment section that you were talking about analyzing. So unless he didn't look at the comment section at all, or any of the comment sections every time he brings this up, then he knows what issues men are fighting and what if they are valid. So if he keeps dismissing it, then it's no longer just being ignorant. This guy.
Do you know what he reminds me? Do you know what he reminds me of? The very right wingers that he hates when they dismiss the problems of poor people. Basically.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. Yes.
Same thing. It's not affecting me, then it's not a non-issue.
Look, I am a man. I'm a white man. I've never been discriminated against because of the
All right,
color of my skin.
Let's stop this. Look at this. Who own most businesses? All that means is men have to work hard to get their businesses. Women can get.
No. I really want to break this down. Yeah. Sorry. Who owns most business? Men. Okay. Who do women? Because this is the best way to break it down. Who do women select for? Higher status men. Okay?
Exactly.
Sexual selection. So women get the money without working. Men hand the money over to women without working. Okay. So men have got pressure to compete more in business and earn money.
Matter of fact,
right?
if women turned around and loved bums on the beach bums, men would not work like we do. We would just say, no, we're not interested in climbing ladders. I don't need to get female attention and approval.
Okay. Oh, so women do own businesses. There's plenty of women millionaires out there anyway. I don't know what he's on about.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be 50-50 or something's wrong. But I mean, that's ignoring.
But using his logic, a disproportionate amount of Jewish millionaires. That's actually true. I don't know if that's true or not. That might be a myth, actually, because I've never really looked into it because I don't care.
Yeah.
But using his logic, there's being a disproportionate amount of Jewish millionaires is a problem, and it's a proof of a Jewish conspiracy.
Yes, actually. Exactly. So, all of a sudden, the white nationalist would have had made a great point if he believes in this. If everything has to be 50-50 all the time.
Right. Who runs most governments? Men. Okay. First of all, men do not have an in-group bias. So that's a non. It's not even a point. It's a non-point. Who runs most of the government? Men. So what?
Yeah, men have to strive to get there. Men have to work.
No, that's not even relevant. Whether they have to strive to get there or not. Okay. Because actually, a lot of men don't. A lot of them inherit it, just like a lot of women do. That's not the point. The point is, men do not have an in-group bias. They don't have a bias towards men. They've actually got a proven bias towards women. A psychological bias towards women. These men in positions of power pander to women. Okay, it's a bit like saying, it's a bit like the princess going, "Oh, look at all these knights that serve me and bow to me. Why are they all men?" It's like that. It's like sorry.
Yeah.
Now this is another one. Who starts most wars? Okay, the men who die in wars are not the same groups of men who start the wars. And it is the second thing. It's been proven via studies that female rulers in history start more wars than men. So
yes.
You're victim blaming men for being victims. We're going, oh, it's men who start the wars. That's actually like a white racist dismissing black poverty and black suffering the results of poverty and suffering crime by going, oh yeah, who commits most of the crimes against black people? Blacks. When they say that. So it's exactly the same thing. So it's a very bigoted thing.
It's
who
still
commits most crime? Next one's worse. Who commits most crime? Men. Okay. What groups of people commit most of the crime statistically? Blacks, according to white racists. That's saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's a white nationalist argument put on the
Yes. Side. Who has more wealth? Men. No, I actually disagree with this one completely. Okay, because rich men are married to women. Okay, so that means they're sharing their wealth. Their assets are joint. So.
Yeah.
No. And most of the extreme poor and homeless are men as well. They completely ignore that point as well.
Yes, exactly. And if you think of how much labor goes per capita of dollar, like if you're a woman who marries a rich man, she's put in zero effort to gain half of whatever the guy had to work for. You know,
and who has more opportunities for success around the world? Men. That's complete bollocks. That one is just totally false. That one can be dismissed out of hand 100%.
Yes.
Women, okay, I've said this, women have got affirmative action. Men do not. Women have got privileged access to higher education. Like Intel, the biggest CPU manufacturer in the world, okay? They donated 100 million to women in tech. We need more women in tech. Let's donate money to it because of reason. No one does that for men.
No.
I'm sorry.
Men actually need that more than women. Because I mean, this desperate effort like the girls just don't have the same desire or the same need to struggle to get opportunities. They're just,
Actually, women in third world countries actually do work more, actually, because they've got an incentive to escape poverty.
yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, let's.
I can't believe Carl's such a moron.
Yeah. Oh my God. Now we'll get past this.
Whiny when you talk about these issues, and
What's that?
unfairly treat men today by and large. But other than that, you are whiny when you talk about these issues, and
There you go. Men are.
What issues? Actually, what he's saying is whining when you talk about these issues. What issues? He doesn't mention what issues men are whining about.
Yeah. And it's so different from his earlier whining about video games and that. It's just any man who, like, he's a man, any man who makes a gripe is whining. And so he's
stick by the fact that I think the men's rights movement is stupid. So everybody reaching out to me from the men's rights movement, I'm not with you. Okay, go away.
You know what? Pause. Carl, if I ever see you, I'm gonna buy a milkshake and pour it over your suit. Okay, for what you just said right there, you're getting milkshaked.
yeah.
That left wingers were doing that to racists and bigots. You're gonna get milkshake over your face. So don't ever come to the UK.
I'll have to say, I don't know if it'll hurt this, but what a scumbag. Kyle Kulinski, what a scumbag you are. You know, he pisses on, I think it's an accurate term, he pisses on every other guy while whining about his own particular issues.
I know he's whining that he was called a misogynist, basically.
Yes.
And he goes, "Oh, I'm not a misogynist. I pander to and worship women." That's what he basically says.
Yes. Don't you realize I'm not like all those other panderers? You know, no other guy worships women like me.
My beliefs. I am a feminist, but I'm a traditional feminist. I'm not a neo-feminist.
They're all the same, Kyle. You're all the same. And so you've just admitted that you have biased against men and for women. And so you're against equality. Like
You're equivalent to a white nationalist, Kyle. You're a gender anti-Semite. That's what feminism is. Feminism is gender anti-Semitism. It's exactly the same narrative. Men have a patriarchy and they can control the world and they conspire to keep men down. Exactly the same as the white nationalist conspiracy theory about the Jews. They secretly conspire to keep the white race down. It's the same sort of nonsense based on resentment.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, if you're focused on video games and you want to, in an authoritarian way, control society and take out certain ideas about gender you don't like, I'm not with you on that. If you care about video games and Barbie playhouses and you're anti-porn, I'm not with that brand of feminism because that's a perversion of what it was. While you do that, I'll be over here fighting for...
It's not a perversion.
No, please, play. You're just about to get to a relevant point.
I'll be over here fighting for...
Just a minute.
Violence against women.
Let's check this out. Okay.
Over here fighting for the Paycheck Fairness Act. I'll be over here fighting for the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act.
Pause. That's the part I want to pause at. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So basically, the Paycheck Fairness Act. Women, there is no pay gap. There is no pay gap for women. Full stop. Right. It's never been proven. We can dismiss that. The Violence Against Women Act. I'm going to use this analogy again. The racist analogy. Women are the safest demographic from violence. They've already got extra protections in the law, okay, and they've already got domestic violence policing that favours them and is biased in their favour. So passing more laws to give them even extra protection while men are suffering more violence is bigoted. It's the equivalent of passing a Violence Against Whites Act. It is. It's exactly the same thing.
Yes.
The Violence Against Women Act is female supremacist. It's a disgusting, bigoted law that should never get passed. Exactly. Women should not be treated as a higher caste.
And they are.
To transvaginal ultrasounds, which are state-sanctioned rapes. It's an unnecessarily...
I don't know anything about this. But...
Okay. If it's a medical procedure and the woman's told to have it for her own good, okay, that's not rape.
No, exactly.
She's consenting to it. This sounds like feminist. Carl's obviously read this on some hysterical feminist site somewhere, and he's actually repeating it like it's true.
Yeah. Well, another thing is, what if it's a female doctor who does it? I mean, if it's it's stupid. I mean, the whole concept is ridiculous.
I suppose the doctor that gives you the prostate exam is raping you as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, has he got a big smile? And he says, "Excuse me, sir, it's more effective if I do it with my penis." What?
Yeah.
Invasive procedure, and it's the state raping a woman. Okay, I'll be fighting. And I'll be
pause it. I want to. It's a state rape. I'm sorry. It's a state raping women. Oh, come on. He talked about fringe nuts. You know, these fringe wing feminists.
Exactly.
Wing nut feminists.
And
he just said the state doing a medical procedure is the state raping women.
Kyle, you were officially a neo-feminist now.
Yes.
We're going to tell you that. You are a neo-feminist that you've been railing against.
I'm sorry. Is he talking about airport security?
What's that?
Is he talking about airport security?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what he's.
So I would like to focus on fighting back against unfair assumptions in society, fighting for the advancement of women, because I do think they still are certainly oppressed in society to a certain extent in many ways.
Yeah, how?
Pause. How? He won't mention how.
Yeah, exactly. What advancements would they want? Right now, they not only they have equal in everything that they're actually beyond us. So why would you need further advancement?
So maybe women should just have the right to kill men outright and enslave them. That's what they need, because he wants them to advance. They need even more rights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to fight for that. If you want to focus on those other things that I think are trivial, petty issues, be my guest, but I'm not with you in that respect. When people act like this is a religion.
Yeah, trivial, petty issues, you know. The men's rights have trivial, petty.
Let's not listen to his last minute. He's doing my nutting.
Yeah,
I think we've covered everything.
It's too much.
Yes. I think we've... So, I just want to put... This is very typical of the left. This is a big problem, because there has to be a conversation about men's issues, right? Because it's actually one of the core issues affecting society on so many different levels. Single motherhood leading to more child abuse, parental alienation, boys getting down marks in schools, right? Domestic violence policing targeting men, toxic gender roles that leads to men working more and struggling to gain status to pander to women. That's a core one. That's a core dynamic of capitalism.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay, and the war machine, the military industrial complex. A lot of that's to do with men joining the army to get money to give to women.
Yes.
Tradcon men, right? And what is war? It's about men stealing resources overseas to give it to women. That's where the instinct comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, a lot of guys join the military when they have nothing else going on in their lives. You know, they can't get work. They jump to the military. They get their time in, but they don't stay a lifetime. They'll just put enough time that they get what they want. Then they leave the military, and a lot of these guys end up complaining about how their taxes are used after you.
Yes.
I mean, this is I'm getting off topic, but just it's this same old thing that the left has. It's exactly the same in the right when it comes to this kind of misandric, you know, anti-male tone.
Yes.
They've really got to change their ways. The right's a waste. I agree with that. These guys will always be anti-male. But the left, I mean, there might be the odd guy in there who says, no, I don't want to be a hypocrite, like Kyle Kulinski here. He's just
here's a shocking thing. Kyle Kulinski is one of the better ones, basically.
Yes.
a lot of these male left wingers, right, will just agree 100% with what the feminists say. They won't even give 1% pushback. This guy is one of the better ones. He does call it, because basically he does. The only good thing he basically says is that women haven't got a right to rant against men, right?
Yes.
Okay. and there's a lot of left wingers who won't even admit that.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it's a huge problem on the left. You know, and then for him to have, he has this other video where he complains about guys who support Bernie being called Bernie bros. Why would he complain about something if he himself, will just purposely ignore men's issues in every other regard? But then he thinks people are going to wake up and go, oh, but Bernie bros, we'll care about men in this particular situation.
Yes. He cares about the Bernie bro thing because he feels like it affects his side.
Yes.
So he takes it personally. Yes.
And this would be another emotional back thing. I mean, I'm not against emotional back, because that's the driver of outrage against injustice, is an emotional driver that allows you to do something that's good.
Yes.
If you have no emotions at all, you have no energy to fight for your cause.
Yes.
Robots do not care. They might make a good argument, but they don't care.
Okay. The thing is, the left are better on economics. They tend not to victim blame. They're not solipsistic. They believe in collectivism.
Yes.
They believe in a larger society. That is why they're superior to the right.
Yes.
And that's why the right offers nothing.
Yes.
So, but the left has got a big misanthropy problem, and they enable feminists far too much.
Yes. That's, in that regard, they are totally right wing in that.
Yes.
They have to do a major 180, if to really start becoming self-aware of what their motivations are, and why they do these things are, and what's actually going on, and being honest about it, and admitting, that's the first step.
Yeah. So basically, I think I've said all I've got to say. This has been going on for nearly an hour, I think.
Probably. So
Yes.
I agree with that. I think we can cut it off here. And Analyzing, thank you so much for having this conversation. It's something that's been needing to be had for years now, if not for years. All right. Goodbye, my friend. I'll see you at the distance.
See you later. Yes.